It's pronounced Jordan. That's right. With Jeremy from the War Eagle Reader. And here's our brand new intro, which is absolutely horrible, but I love it. It sounds majestic.
And now for something completely different.
This is Shug Jordan, coach of the Auburn Tigers.
Say what? No.
It's pronounced
Jordan.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
This is Shug Jordan, football coach of the Auburn Tigers.
Oh, how do you like that, huh?
That is art. That is art. Y'all have done it.
Let's see, I had some Monty Python in there. I had some Mel Brooks in there. I had Transformers. I had I had Rob Reiner.
I'm speechless. And honored.
And Shug himself.
I think the what was it? Was it like a speaking spell? Or
yes,
it's pronounced Jordan.
There's there's more than one, but I found a website. I found this actually, I think, like a year and a half ago. There's a website that does talk to speech. And it's used for people who are maybe visually impaired or what have you, and you just type in whatever you want and it reads it, and you have this choice of voices. You can do a British, you can do American English, and
kinda
you can
like
do
a GPS.
Yeah, you can do male, female, and they have all these different, like, it's kind of funny because it's not like male 1, male 2, male 3. It's like Paul, Chris, John. I'm like,
so who was that?
That was actually Paul.
Paul.
I actually looked at there was one named Rich, and I thought, well, I'll just get you, but it was as you might expect, it was horrible. So.
Yeah. No, that was incredible. That was great. It was way better than I was thinking.
That was a lot better than what I was going to have.
That was great.
So that was a lot of fun. Jeremy with the War Eagle Reader. It's pronounced Jordan, our weekly visit with the War Eagle Reader. And last week we had a lot of fun talking about obbies and mascots, and that was just a lot of fun. There's been a lot of great stuff up on the web today. An absolutely adorable, precious video of an Auburn graduate who is proposed to via a Lego stop
motion Lego video.
It was awesome.
That's like international.
It's fantastic,
and it's been around for like a week. I was kind of ashamed that we'd only just now gotten a hold of it. I mean, it was like every story was mentioning Auburn, because one of the Legos is in an orange and blue Lego outfit. Even though it's really more Florida orange and blue. But I guess when you're dealing with Lego, hey, pre-Aubie, man, it was the 70s.
That's right.
It was a 70s co-ed.
I guess. Oh man. So that a lot of good stuff up there on the site today. Tell us what are we talking about today? What did you bring for our listeners to devour?
Well, I thought just because it's on everybody's minds, everybody's posts.
Yes.
Toomer's
Toomer's Corner.
And the history of the Rollings and how that is kind of playing into the decisions about what we're going to do now, or in the future.
Yeah, short term and long term.
Yeah, and it's there's been kind of almost like weekly or monthly. There's so many Toomer's Corner, Toomer's Oaks posts now that we actually have a separate
whole section,
a section that I'm just tagging everything as Toomer's Corner. And the obviously a lot of it began with about a year ago.
Yes, sadly.
I guess we're coming up on the anniversary of the news breaking.
Well, I guess the phone call.
I'm sure Feinbaum will have a best of
the phone call. I'm trying to remember because I think the phone call was.
Wasn't it early February, and then we found out late February? It could have been late January.
I think it was late because I think it was late January.
Yeah, it's coming up on it.
Yeah, I think it was late January, the last week in January, because it was kind of a surprise,
right?
Because he'd actually he claimed to have actually done it like the week after the Iron Bowl,
right,
which had been a couple of months,
right.
But yeah, so it has been, and now for the past year, everybody's been wondering what to do.
Right, and so obviously, like the history,
Yes.
of this tradition and everything has been, under a microscope.
Yeah.
Like our microscope.
Yeah.
We are the microscope.
You are the microscope.
And well, other microscopes. Like it came out the other day that they weren't these 130. The oaks weren't 130 years old.
Right.
Which had been reported. Everybody was picking it
Sure.
up, like press release
Sure.
style, ESPN, and everybody 130 years old. And and it's kind of, it's not necessarily embarrassing or anything, but it's kind of odd that one of the photos that they used to date these photos is this big picture that's hanging up in Toomer's truck.
Yes.
And I guess nobody, you just kind of look at it. And your mind just kind of, it's like skipping over, a letter or something or a word in a sentence. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
doesn't register.
Right.
And,
Right.
Anyway, so yeah, I've before any of this stuff was obviously preoccupied with Auburn
Right.
lore, as we are.
That's right.
The royal we.
Yes.
We we're always interested in where it began, and there was all
Sure,
these
sure.
all these tales, and you would hear, well, it began
Right.
this way, and then if you listen to a the Camp War Eagle folks walking by, I mean they're telling some story here, and and everybody's got this different thing.
Yeah.
And then with the one of the things early on in trying to imagine it as being this continuity of this long tradition like we everybody would want
Absolutely.
is this story about telegraph paper back in the
Yes.
day,
Yes.
and throwing the paper over the wires to signal to the people who I guess couldn't hear from the earshot of the telegraph thing that we had won a game.
This is, by the way, I'm Catholic. This is kind of like the bells.
Right, in the Vatican,
church.
right.
It's kind of, when they ring the bells up
We've-
front when something important's going on.
The Pope has won a football game, or the Vatican. What are these smoke signals?
Yeah, they do smoke signals. Yeah.
And should.
Yeah,
It
that's
should.
right.
Catholic.
Sure. There you go.
Anyway,
So-
what was I saying?
Well,
right.
we always try to make this the tradition much longer. It's for some reason it carries a lot more weight to us.
Right.
If it's been around forever.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, and you could kind of say, like, with the dating of the trees, that it was, it's kind of like, oh, well, does that affect, like,
Right.
the outcry? Should it not, and it's not, it shouldn't really be the case, because it could actually work the other way, because their life expectancy, could have been much greater.
Sure,
actually.
sure.
So we could have had these things.
Yeah.
But I have never seen a single primary source of any kind, and not to say it's out there. God knows we're not perfect.
But you're close.
Things escape us. But
you're close.
Right. I personally have never seen a primary source other than an email forward or a message board, thing that indicates that. And not that I've, like I said, seen everything.
Sure.
But it gets kind of like passed around. But, it didn't start in earnest until the early 70s.
Okay.
And so it would seem kind of odd that, the telegraph had been, gone for a while.
Yes.
That suddenly, these like, borderline, hippie frat, conservative
Sure.
Auburn dudes, who were wanting to cause a little trouble, have a little fun, stop some traffic, are thinking, you know what, we're going to, pick this thing back up. Like grandma told me about doing this.
Right.
And we're gonna
Right.
start rolling the wires,
Right.
because this thing needs to keep going. And it's not to say that they couldn't, it's not mutually,
Yeah.
it could
Yeah.
have been, but I just think if something like that did happen, then what has happened now and what it has turned into is just, purely coincidental.
Yeah.
And just, related to just the, the context of the corner itself. People have always gathered there.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
have been pep rallies there,
Forever, yeah.
for forever.
Sure.
And so, and some kids start, getting wild and bringing some toilet paper and starts, picking up. And so anyway, so I was going to try to, kind of get into that, the genesis of the,
The true genesis
the true genesis of what we know now
Right.
to be
As rolling
rolling
the-
Toomer's corner.
Yeah.
And Anyway, a story had kind of.
I tell you, before we start
yes.
into the story, let's grab our first break, and when we come back, we're going to hear the first. We're going to hear the first kind of story about where this started, right?
Right.
All right, that's where we're going. When we come back, it's pronounced Jordan. That's what you're listening to right here on The Drive. Jordan. More of The Drive when we come back. Stick around.